Alright pilots, it's Nick's here with a new video. Today we're going to get into the cockpit familiarization of the FA18 Hornet, the Legacy Hornet. Almost everybody loves the Hornet in DCS, and you'll be able to figure out why once you start flying it. It's a great jet, it's a jack of all trades, it's very user friendly. It's pretty nerfed up because it's so user friendly, but the technology is great. You're going to love this jet. Let's jump inside and start figuring this thing out. Today we're going to show you around the cockpit, and we're also going to show you how to cold start this thing and get it ready to fly with a proper INS alignment so that all your systems work. This will get you started. So first thing, let's just look around so we can see the lay of the land. I'm not going to go over every single panel. This is going to be a normal Nix video where I'm just going through the beginner basic stuff. I'm not going to waterboard you with information. I'm going to show you what you need to know, and you can learn the advanced stuff later. This is just going to show you how to correctly get this thing started. It's not a perfect by the books start, but it is a good start that gets everything turned on and everything going properly. So over here, this is a switch you're going to need to know. This is your oxygen. You'll want to be able to turn that off and on. Your ILS and all this stuff here, you don't have to worry about it. Your volumes, you're not going to have to really worry about it. Your FCS, this is very important. You're going to use this every time you fly. Your APU on-off switch and your engine crank switch. This will be really important when we start this thing up here in just a few minutes. This is your fuel stuff. This is your fuel dump. Be careful that you don't bump this. This turns your probe on and off if you're going to do air-to-air refueling. Your exterior flight lights are over here. Your position and formation lights. Over here, you're not going to worry about any of this stuff here for the most part. This is your ground power and all of that. You can just leave it right here on auto. Here is all of your gear and undercarriage stuff. This is all like your hook. This is your taxi lights. This is also retractors from your front gear. This is for when you're using the aircraft carrier, basically. This is your flaps. You've only got 3 settings for flaps on the Hornets. You got full flaps, half flaps, and auto flaps. And like anything else in the Hornet, a lot of stuff is auto. This is your parking brake. Goes in, spin it, pull it out. Parking brake is back on. This is your jettison. So it's safe, and then you've got your missiles, your racks, your stores. So it just says stores. You can get in. We'll get into that later on how to jettison, but this is your jettison button. This is your landing gear, the big red knob. This is your arm and unarm, and your selectors for air-to-air or underground. So very simple stuff. You got your 2 big MFDs, and you've got your center line right here between your legs. Let's get rid of the stick. If you come down here and look, you've got your dispenser. So this is your flare and chaff, on and bypass. When it's on bypass, which is the way I use it, you'll bind a button to release your chaff and your flare when you want to use it. If it's on, it does it automatically, and the reason why I don't run mine on automatic is because it'll waste a lot of chaff and flare on friendly missiles and so on and so forth. So I like to keep good situational awareness and use my chaff and flare when I want to. This is your ECM down here. You'll put it in standby when you're starting up. When you're in the air, you'll put it on receive, and when you're trying to actively jam, you'll go to transmit. This is your RWR. Now, this is, a lot of people get hung up on this part because they don't see it down here, but this little thing down here below your MFD is your RWR, and this is your power switch right down here. This is all your HUD stuff. This is your UFC. Come down here, you got your standby secondary ADI. You got your altimeter. You got your VSI. This is going to be your engine stuff here. It's all digital. You don't have to worry about your video recording, your HUD tape. That's not something you're going to ever worry about. Come down here, you got your hides, you got your battery, you got your ejector seat arm. You don't have to worry about this or this. These are your generators. Just leave those the way they are. Here are your batteries in the middle. This is your bleeds. So this is your bleed air. You'll be using this a little bit. Here's your console and instrument lights, and then your floods. Down here, this is your INS computer. This is your radar. This is your FLIR, which would be your targeting pod. This is your laser. Don't worry about anything else back here. Your defogger, you're probably not going to ever have to use that. Your windshield anti-ice. This is your hook. Pull it, drop the hook, bring it back up. This is your wing fold. You just pull it back and then you spin it to fold, and then you would put it back down and pop it in to re-put the wings out. So that's all stuff you'll use on the carrier. These are your warning lights down here, this little panel right here. That's pretty much it. Let's start this thing up. It's real easy. So first things first, we're going to turn the battery on. Getting complicated already, I know. And you can see right there, that's where your master caution is. Don't worry about it, just let it do its thing. Come down here and turn your APU on. Now we're just going to wait for it to do its thing, and it'll go green when it's ready. I'm going to close the cockpit so it doesn't get so loud. That way we can hear ourselves think, right? Nobody wants to listen to a video that's growling at you the whole time. Alright, APU is now ready, you can tell by the green light. So we're going to turn our oxygen on so we don't forget. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to left click to go left engine first. Now you come down here and look at your display, and we're going to want these RPMs to go up to about 25. And then we're going to click the engine over to idle, the left engine. There we go, we're good. Left engine into idle, and that'll introduce fuel. And you'll hear the generator start humming when the engine gets up to speed. There it is. And we're going to wait for it to stabilize. Now you can see we have power, because we're getting more power off the generator. The APU generates some power, but not that much. Just let it go through all of its stuff. Don't worry about what it's saying. Alright, so now this automatically clicks back. Now we're going to right click it to go to right engine. And now we're going to start turning stuff on. So we'll go day. Come down here and turn this one on. This is the middle MFD going to bright. We're going to turn our hood on to bright and our UFC to bright. We'll come down here and turn that on, and we'll go to standby on our ECM, and we will power up the RWR. Alright, we're at 30, so let's go ahead and click the right engine into idle. And there we go. And you see down here bingo, you can change our bingo just by clicking on these two arrows. So I usually go about 3,000 or 3,500 for bingo, and that'll give me a bingo warning when we get down to 3,500 pounds of fuel. Now the Hornet is not super good with fuel. You go through a lot of fuel, so you got to be real mindful. I'm even carrying a lot of fuel, and you got to be real mindful. The other thing is that's your total up here, and this is your internal. So what you'd want to do is when this top number is the same as the bottom number, that means your bag is empty. So if the top number and the bottom number are matching, that means you can dump your bags. They're no longer doing anything for you. Alright, we're going to unlock our standby ADI by just rolling it. We're going to turn on our HEMIX, that's our helmet mounted display. We're going to come down over here. Both engines are up now, so we're going to go ahead and cycle the bleeds by right clicking this thing until it goes all the way back up to top. We're going to come down here and put our radar to standby. Now we're ready to start aligning the INS. You can see our INS is not aligned. You can tell by everything just bouncing. So we're going to come down here. Now we're going to set our INS to ground. CV is when you're on an aircraft carrier. We're going to set it to ground. We're going to come straight over here, and you see it blinking. And we're going to come down here. We're going to box STD heading. That's stored heading. We're going to do it this way every time because it makes your alignment way faster, and it does just as good of a job. Mainly because once you're aligned in the Hornet, you will set your Hornet not to nav but to IFA, in-flight alignment. So it'll always be staying aligned. It'll always maintain its alignment. So there you go. The quality started at 100 and it's counting down. When it gets down to 5, it'll be done. So if you didn't do stored heading, this would be counting a lot slower. Alright, so let's get our other stuff out of the way while the alignment's going on. We're going to come up here, we're going to turn on our IFF by clicking IFF and then hitting on. That's what it'll look like. It'll say XP. We're going to come over here and turn on our data link and hit on. And then hit data link one more time and hit on. Let's come over here and you can see all these not readies and bit failures. Don't worry about all of that. We're just going to click on the display one and then click it one more time. And now we're running the bit on our helmet mounted display. So we're going to let it go through these symbols a couple times. And we're just killing time anyway, but we want to go ahead and align our HEMIX properly. So we're going to run the bit. Hopefully we went through it twice. We're going to stop it. Now we're going to come down here and hit menu. And then we're going to hit menu one more time. There's two menus on an MFD, tactical and supplemental. So here's TAC, stores, radar, HUD, EW, and situational awareness. We'll hit again. And we want HMD, that's the HEMIX, and then we'll want to align it. And it'll be just like aligning for other aircraft that do it this way. You're going to use our helmet tracking, get it all lined up, and lock our helmet, our head tracking, like that. And then we're going to hold our cage. And then it says okay. We're going to unhold the cage, and that's going to rotate to the next kind, and hit it again. And there we go. We went through the X and Y and roll. We'll unlock our head, and we are now aligned on our HEMIX. Now we'll come over here, it says flaps off, and that's because they're set at full. We're going to go ahead and set our flaps to half. So in the Hornet, the FCS is going to take the aircraft off for us. So we don't have to worry about flaps. We leave them at half. Not auto and not full. Always to half. So let's come back over here and click menu. Whenever you're lost, always just hit menu and it'll rotate between those two menus. So we're looking for FCS on the bottom right, which will be in your SUP. And you see this is our FCS system, our dampening fly-by-wire system. You see those X's, that means they're not set properly. So now that we see that, we're going to come over here, and every time you get a new loadout of weapons that changes the weight on the aircraft, you're going to want to reset your FCS. So you come down here and you hold down reset for a couple seconds. Then you come over here and you don't change the dial. You're just going to push the button in the middle down and hold it for a few seconds. Like so. Now you look up here. You notice all the X's are, if you have X's in here after doing that, then you need a new aircraft. You're done. There's something wrong with the system. You can see when we move our stick and our rudder pedals, so our stabs are moving, our ailerons are moving, we're moving our rudder, and everything's all good. So FCS is set. You can see our alignment is done. It didn't take very long at all. So we'll come down here and we're going to switch our INS down to IFA, and we don't have to worry about it ever again. So now we got a couple of things we want to do just to make our aircraft completely ready for us. So we got our IFF and our data link turned on. We're all aligned. So let's come down here now and we're going to go to the EW. So this is your big RWR. You've got a little RWR over here, but you can actually make your MFD a big RWR. And over here where it says HUD, you're going to box it. So when the RWR is powered up and turned on, when you box the RWR, what it does is in your HEMIX now, if there's a target, it'll show you the targets around you as if it was an RWR, and it'll have lines on them. And the line that is really long is the one that is the most threat to you, that is pinging you. So you want to have your RWR HUD boxed so that you get all that information in your helmet display. And when we're flying and going through other videos, I will show you this and explain it a lot more. So now let's go to the SA page, Situational Awareness, and it's basically like an HSI, but it's a little bit different. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to hit Sensor, and we're going to box RWR. And that'll give you more information on your situational awareness, like targets, RWR contacts, radar targets, friendlies. You'll want that all in here. Shows your chaff and flare. Now if you go to bypass, you won't see this anymore. And I run mine at bypass, but if you want it to do all by itself, just leave it on and let it do its own thing, and it'll show you how much chaff and flare you have. Now just to go through these screens a little bit more. So there's your SA, you can put it up here instead of down there if you want to. Menu, EW, you can put that up there. You can move anything you want around. Your stores, you can see we've got some JDAMs, we've got some AMRAMs, we've got some 9Xs, we've got a targeting pod. That's your stores page. Your radar page, I usually run my radar on the right hand side, but this is what the radar page looks like. A HUD, it's just your HUD. Your HUD is pasted up here as well. Go to your SUP page, you've got your HSI. So this would be your standard HSI where you can select waypoints, set marks. It's at 40 miles now. You can switch it all the way out to 160. It's got all kinds of good stuff like Tacan. Your waypoints, like I said, you can rock your waypoints to select what waypoint you're using. your weapon designate and sequence. This is all stuff we'll get into when you start dropping bombs and doing navigation. But that's your HSI. And then there's the ADI. You'll probably never use this, but it's here if you need it. It's basically just a digital representation of this. But you usually, you have all this information also in your HUD. So there's level, there's negative, there's positive for pitch roll. And that is basically a solid start. So if I was going to take off right now, I'd probably go ahead and throw my HSI up to the left. I would put my EW between my legs there because I don't use it very often. And I would put my radar right over here. And I would turn the radar on. Now once you're on the ground though, it still has this symbol because it's not working. Once you get in the air, it'll start sweeping. We're not going to get into how to use the radar today. We'll get into that later. Arm the seat. Double check everything's good. Oxygen's on. We're all set. FCS is set. We're at half flaps. Engines are good. Just got to make sure we don't have wheel chocks, and off we go to the races. That's how you start your Hornet. You're good to go. Your INS is completely aligned. All your systems are checked and okay. You have a perfect start. Everything's going to work. I'll see you on the next video, and I'll see you all in the sky, pilots. Take it easy.